I went to the doctor this week. Yep. He said still a handsome boy. And also that if I continue my current diet, that it could be destructive in the long term. Could be though. That was my takeaway. It could be. So, for now, living La Vida Loca. Nothing to worry about. But there was something to worry about when I went to the doctor. Before the appointment even started. You know, you get there and you wait in the waiting room, which is a very apt name, a very apropos name. I've been noticing certain TV shows I watch, there's words that I can tell that the writers like because they use them and it's not a word that other people use. Like apropos, I just finished watching White Collar. They always say that word in White Collar. Another show I'm watching right now, I'm not going to tell you what the show is, but I've noticed that they're using the word vim. And I was like, that's not a word I ever heard anyone use before this show. The reason I'm not going to tell you what show it is because I don't want any spoilers. Whenever I start watching a show, no one knows about it. Because if I tell you about the show, then I run the risk of spoilers. I've had this happen to me before. I've told someone, oh yeah, I'm watching this show. I'm not going to say what show it is because I might spoil it for you. Even though like it's an older show at this point. But I remember telling someone, oh, I'm watching this show right now. And they were like, oh, yeah, that was a fun show. I watched about half of it. I stopped watching once this character left. I was like, what? I I didn't know that that character leaves. So how am I supposed to continue? The whole time I was watching that show, I kept thinking, "Oh my god, are they gonna die this episode?" Like that's the other thing. I didn't know how they left, which you could give them the person credit, where it's like, well, they didn't tell you why they left, but that also ruined it. Every time this person got in like a high stakes situation, I'm like, "Oh my god, are they gonna die?" I was like, "Damn it, I shouldn't have these thoughts," but I do because this person told me like, "Oh yeah, that character leaves eventually." Last couple seasons of the show, they're not even there, and I'm like, "What?" I like that character too. It sucks. But yeah, I noticed in Suits, no, sorry, White Collar, they always say apropos in the show I'm watching right now. They say Vim. I'm not going to tell you what show it is. But yeah, a waiting room, it's a very apropos name. If anyone says the word apropos in real life, I think you are legally allowed to slap them. I didn't write the law, I just uphold it like a star citizen. Unlike my boy JT, you see Justin Timberlake? Poor guy. It's going to ruin the world tour. But I was in the waiting room, and you know, when you get there, they let you sit there, kind of incubate for about 30 minutes. So I was sitting there, and there were 31 seats in this whole waiting room. And if you include me, there were 8 people in the waiting room. So 8 people, 31 seats. That means 23 were available. And this guy walks in, he takes a survey of the area, and in my head, I'm looking at those 23 open seats, and to me, there's only 2 seats, 2 correct seats he could have picked. Really, there's one, but if he picked a different one, I would have been like, yeah, that's fine. That would have been okay. But he sat in what I deemed the correct seat. And I don't know why, but that made me feel some kind of camaraderie with this guy, that we were on the same level. It's kind of like when you find out someone else doesn't like a thing, or someone has like a shared interest or some shared characteristic of yours. Like when I run into someone that doesn't like tomatoes, I'm like, yeah, I think this might work out. If you don't like tomatoes, I think we already kind of have the same worldview. And that's how I felt with this guy. I felt like, hey, you know, if anything goes down here, he's got a good head on his shoulders. I bet he could get us out of it because he and I are alike. We're 7 other people, don't worry, because you got the dream team here, okay? You got the Splash Brothers of waiting rooms, and you don't even know it. We're the deadly duo. ESPN's reporting on us because they're like, wow, what's this duo going to come up with next? Which is crazy because we don't even have a body of work behind us. But I don't know what it was about him sitting in that seat that I deemed the correct seat, but it made me feel close to him. Because I was like, yeah, whatever he did in his head to decide on that seat, and I saw him kind of think about it. Whatever that thing was, that process he went through in his head, it got him to the same conclusion that my brain process got me to. We might have taken different routes to get there, but we ended up at the same location. And I was like, oh, that's nice. We got the same grooves up there. Which For me, it'd be just a groove. Very smooth brain up there. Imagine you look at someone's brain, there's just like one wrinkle, and you're like, oh, looks like a sound wave up there. But yeah, when I saw that guy sit there, I felt close to him. I was like, should I go talk to him? I was like, no, come on, go, calm down. Because why would you, what are you doing? You guys are there to do a thing and then get out. Okay, no one goes to the doctor trying to socialize. Like, oh, what are you in for? It's like, that's, no, phrasing. Don't say that. Incredibly intrusive question just to start on. You go to a hospital, what are you in for? I don't want to tell you about the rash. My family doesn't even know about my rash. Why am I going to tell you, random stranger? I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. My bad. But you said it was a rash? Where's the rash? Also interesting, we're in the growing specialty area. I mean, I know I'm here too, but that kind of, by the process of elimination, I can kind of figure out where your rash is, which is, you see why this doesn't work out? That's the only reason I can't talk to him. That, no other reason. But it did get me thinking, do you think a hospital is the best or worst place to meet someone? Think about it, because I see there's two schools of thought here and no others. I've considered everything. I've Doctor Stranged it. I've seen all situations, all combinations, all hypotheticals, and I've worked it out. There's only two schools of thought here, okay? Everything is binary. Everyone knows that. It's black and white. Is the hospital a bad place to meet someone because they're going to be sick and you don't want to get close to them? Or is a hospital a good place to meet someone because the fact that they're at a hospital means that they're healthy? They're just going in for a checkup, and that means they're health conscious. You see what I'm saying? Like, the fact that they're at the hospital means they keep up with their health, which is like a nice thing. Or they could be sick, and then you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to get next to them. Not because that means they're a bad person for getting sick. This isn't, the 1800s where they'd stone you. You cough a couple times, they're like, yep, you're a witch. You're dead now. I know that cough's probably going to take you out in 3 business days, but I'm just going to go ahead and get it over quick and stone you because I don't want you spreading your magic to other people. That's right. I don't get, how were people allowed to live I know they were getting taken out in their like 20s and stuff, but I feel like there were so many arbitrary rules that there was enough justification for anyone really to be killed. You know that whole thing about the witch trial? That's not what it's called. But there was this thing where women in the whatever ages this was, I forgot when it was, that they were doing this, testing people to be witches. There was a test that they would do. If you were a suspected witch, and of course only a woman could be a witch. Yes, that's true. Which is a crazy cover story. It's like, they're like, we need to come up with an excuse that we can just kill innocent women. And they were like, yeah, call them witches. And they were like, let's run with it. What? And they would do this test. I've asked some people this before. This is a fun question. Crazy preface to this question. But do this. You want to do this with your friends? I think it's an interesting question. It's also very dark. If you were suspected of being a witch back in the whatever days this was, the Dark Ages, the bubonic plague era. If you were deemed to be a witch or suspected to be a witch, there's a test they would do. They would tie stones to your ankles and throw you in a lake. If you sunk, not a witch. You're good, but you're also dead. If you float, which is impossible, but if you float, you are a witch, and now we have to kill you. So my question, I've done this with friends, if you were suspected of being a witch, which way would you... Oh, that's not... That's so stupid. That's not even a clever pun. And I ate it right up, didn't I? I said the word witch, and I was like, man, I'm kind of a funny guy. That's the weakest wordplay. Just entertain me. That's crazy. But which way would you like to go out if you were a suspected witch? Would you like to sink or would you like to float and then do that? And I've heard answers for both. Basically, the sinking rationale is that, yeah, just get it over with. I don't want to go through all that other stuff. But I think a lot of people pick the float option and then probably get stoned later. Yeah, blaze up. No, stoned to death. Damn, that shit hit hard. No, I mean with like rocks. They would throw rocks at you until you are deceased. Murder by pebbles. Guy that chokes on cereal. Not those pebbles. Not the fruity ones, God damn it. This is a serious matter here, folks. And people always pick that option because they're like, I think I could escape. Because they're going to make an event out of it. They're not going to do the stoning the same day as the sinking. They got to break it up. Remember, there wasn't much to do back then. They didn't have iPads yet. So they were like, we're going to kill people for sport, but we should break it up. That way there's something to do on Monday and Tuesday. You can't just pack it all into Monday. What, you greedy? You greedy villager? Speaking of villager, if you played Minecraft, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't play Minecraft, well, there's other things wrong with you, but you also think I'm a crazy person, which two things can be true at the same time. But the thing is, I think you could escape. I think you could. I think that's probably the right option. If we're going to say that there's a right option, you should probably pick the option of floating and then getting stoned like the next day. Because then you could probably run away at night, right? No security cameras. Where are they going to see you leave? They're just going to be like, oh, she vanished. I told you she was a witch. But no, you could just walk like 2 miles down the road and then start a brand new life, right? And they'd be like, who are you? And you're like, oh, I just came out of nowhere. They're like, oh, witch. And it's like, oh, damn, now you're really stuck. That's the problem. If you are suspected of being a witch, you can't just pop up somewhere else, or else they'll be like, that's witchy behavior. How did you get here? And it's like, God damn it, man. But yeah, if you were in a hospital, would that be a good or bad place to meet someone? Because are they getting in front of the issues, or are you just going to make yourself sick? Again, I'm not saying that sick people are not valuable people. It's like, that's a crazy thing. But you know what I'm saying? Like if someone has a cough, you don't want to get close to them. You're going to get sick. I would say, didn't we learn anything from 2020? But doesn't seem like it. But which option would I say? Is the hospital a good or bad place to meet someone? I would say it's a good place, yeah? It means they're outgoing. Outgoing to a hospital on a random weekday. Because that's when you go to hospitals. Weekdays. All those places you see, they're for adults to go during the week. Isn't that crazy? All the necessary places to go. Nope, see, I already disagree with what I'm about to say. I was going to say like hospitals, grocery stores, stuff like that. Those are for adults to go to during the week. But no, sometimes if you don't do it during the week, you'll do it on the weekend. But that's where you'll only see adults during the week. Oh, here, I got something here. Oh, he's cooking. Let him cook. And then on weekends, those places turn into more recreation. Grocery stores, see a bunch of kids running around. But hospitals, right? Nope, you don't see kids running around in hospitals on weekends. Are hospitals open on weekends? Sounds like a dumb question, but ask your friends. I'm sure they would take a pause and be like, yeah, I mean, are they? I don't think I've ever gone to a hospital on a weekend, right? Isn't that a thing? You always get pulled out of school. You always take some time off work to go to the hospital for a doctor's appointment. Is that because they're not open on weekends? Like, what's going on? Right, because doctors have to have their weekends. They can't just work 24/7. Well, they do, and that's why they have rotations and stuff. But if you're trying to see like a primary care physician, a PCP, hey, wait a minute. You can't go on weekends, can you? And then what? You run the risk of seeing your doctor in public on the weekend? You're like, it's like seeing a teacher. Remember that whole phenomenon? Seeing a teacher in public, and you're like, hey, wait a minute. I thought you were supposed to be locked up. I thought you were supposed to be locked up in that jail I go to 5 days a week. Who let you out? Guards? Get them. Which? But yeah, I think it'd be nice to, I'll take what I can get. I think it'd be nice to meet someone in a hospital. At least that shows you that they believe in them. There's some people that don't even, I'm not even talking about all that other stuff. I'm talking about there's some people that don't even think hospitals exist. They're like Sutter, Kaiser. What are all these names? I hardly know her. Those are fake made up names. Can't be serious with that shit. But I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be good to meet someone there at a hospital because I'm a sick puppy myself. Let me tell you this. I thought about this week and I was like, oh man, I'm a piece of shit, aren't I? But no, I'm not. I'm a piece of shit for being a good person. We'll go with that because I thought about it and I just realized one of the greatest highs in life is getting your friend a better birthday present than their partner gets for them. I realize I really like that because like I have a friend, a guy, he's dating a girl. I thought about it. I was like, man, I really want to get him a good gift so that he looks at it and he's like, oh, fuck, this is the best gift. And I'm like, oh, best gift, huh? Have other people gotten you gifts so far? And he's like, yeah, I mean, basically everyone. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not late, okay? Best for last, actually. Let's say that. It was strategic what I was doing. If you know you got a finale performance under the belt, I'd hold on to it too. I'm like the big fireworks at the very end. You wouldn't do that shit at the very start. No. You do those little shitty fireworks that are like, oh, little screamers that are blinding. If you think about it, and actually this probably isn't that funny because there's like real implications behind this, but isn't the 4th of July just like microdosing PTSD? Like it's a bunch of loud noises and bangs and flashes. Like, and I know that's a thing because veterans, that's the whole message where it's like, remember your veterans because that shit is traumatic. And dogs are like, holy shit, what are you guys doing? Is the world blowing up? Like, holy shit, I knew my owner was right about solar flares. Everyone get the batteries, get the beef jerky. We got to go to the basement. I wonder if there's a dog that always thinks the world is ending. It's like, oh fuck, here it comes. The 4th of July is a dog's Mayan calendar. It's like, yep, I knew this shit was going to happen. Also, 4th of July is coming up, so this is very topical. And you know what the nice thing about 4th of July coming up is? It's July, which means people can finally start having that conversation again where it's like, oh, wow. Actually, they're probably having them right now where it's like, oh, wow, it's June. Oh, it's July. Already halfway through this year. Doesn't feel like it. Man, it feels like just yesterday it was January, huh? Man, where does time go? Hey, they say time flies when you're having fun, but past 6 months hasn't been that fun. I've been actually quite sad the past 6 months, so you got to wonder, where does the time actually go? Another day at work, huh? It's like, cool. Kyle, can I use the water cooler now? It's like you're kind of in the way. It's like, yeah, man, oh, my bad, sorry. Oh, I didn't even realize I was hogging the thing, you know? Like I said, no concept of time with this one, because, you know, I was only standing in front of the water cooler for a couple seconds, but it was probably an eternity to you. Just like for me, you know, this half year, it's been a long 6 months, but it's already over. But yes, I'm really looking forward to that. People saying, this has been such a quick year. How do we already get to June? That one, I love that. It's such a good, again, it's like a derivative of the whole weather conversation. How's the weather? Getting hotter. How's time? Flying by. Wish I had more of it. We talk about all the we talk about all these things that we can't control in the same way all the time. I mean, we have some control of them. Like if you go inside, it's not as hot. Stuff like that. I was gonna say money. People always say like, oh, wish I was making more money. And I guess in a way you can kind of control that depending on what job but you know what I'm saying? You only have so much control. But people always say the same things about those things. Time, money, weather. Oh yeah. It's getting hotter. It's getting colder. Summer solstice just happened. I don't know what day that was. Was it on a Thursday? They say it was the longest day of the year. How did it fall on a Thursday if Monday felt longer? Whew. That's another good one. No one laid that one down on me, but that's a banger right there. It's because we don't go into the office as much. This is what we're missing out on. These bangers that I'm throwing out at you. I'm basically supplementing your water cooler talk with this podcast, so you're welcome. But back to the point. Sorry, I got away from things there. I'm the big firework. I gotta get the good present because I don't know why, and it's so sick. It's so gross, probably. But one of the best feelings, getting someone a better birthday gift than someone that they're closer to. That's fucked up, right? But doesn't it feel so good? And then you kind of poke, but you don't prod. You just poke around. You feel it out. You're like, oh, I mean, this was so good. Did you not get something better? I mean, there's no way. I got you the best gift. Did I? I mean, what did other people get you? What did your what did your girlfriend get you? What? Huh? Sorry, I wasn't. What did she get you? Oh, you guys spent the day together? That's cool. Yeah. And you guys usually do that every other day? Okay, so that one, there was nothing special about that day? That's fun. But that's not wrong, right? If you're doing a nice thing, it doesn't matter what your intentions are. The ends justify the means. It doesn't matter how you got there. That's fucked up. Isn't that fucked up? But then you got to frame it mentally, internally, in a good way. You're like, no, I'm doing this because I'm a good person. I'm not competing. No. I don't, it doesn't matter what other people, I'm doing a nice thing for a friend. Who cares what their partner did for them? Even if I did it better, and that's not a big thing. You get a gift for your friend. They're like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've gotten. I'm like, oh, you mean that? They're like, yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I can't wait to like use this. I'm like, yeah. Wow. Whoa, hey, what the fuck? Whoa, I was like, hey, what? You were giving off a vibe. Okay. You said I gave you the best gift on your big day. I'm the big firework. I make the biggest boom. I blow up. You were giving off vibes, okay? I picked up a vibe that you put down. That's not my fault. That's like me being a librarian, okay? And checking a book out to you. This makes no sense, but go with it. Been checking a book out to you because you want to check it out. I was just doing my job, okay? I was just doing what you wanted me to do. Awful analogy. We're not that far into this episode. I can just restart it, right? But yeah, that's not sick, right? It's sick. You know what? It's sick if you admit it. And that's what I'm doing here. No. But part of you're not a bad person if you know you're a bad person. That's the rule, right? Like if you admit you do a bad thing, that doesn't make it bad anymore. Ask all the worst people in history. They would agree. But have you guys ever done that? Have you ever had that thought where you're like, oh man, this shit's gonna bang? And that's nice for them, but it's really nice for me. Would you say it's the best present you've ever gotten? Oh, okay. This year. I'll beat it next year. And that's the thing. Next year, you would just be playing against yourself because you were the top last year. I'm trying to be defending champions. That's what I'm trying to be every year. I walk into the room. They're like, oh, this fucking guy again. He's going to blow it out of the park. No one can beat him. I'm like, yep. I hold up the belt. Yeah. Yeah, motherfuckers. Move out the way. I'm about to give this dude something he deserves. And they're like, ah, damn it. Do you think there's a lot of new parents my age I'm noticing. Do you think they're going to stop posting their kids if they don't get enough likes? Think about it. Because they had a lot of highs coming into a kid. Phrasing. And, they probably got married. They probably had a kid. They maybe moved into a new place. And now they're posting pictures of their kid. Well, those 3 events I just listed, getting married, having a kid, moving into a new place, those probably before that maybe, or in the middle there somewhere, graduating from college. These are all 4 really big events, and they probably posted them on social media. And they probably got the most likes. And they're probably chasing that high. so much. But they're also inundating their followers with pictures of their newborn. And that's nice at first. You're like, oh my God, a new baby. You're like, I'll toss a like. Good for them. That must have been a hard 9 months. Equally as hard for both of them, right, guys? Yeah, give me that paternity leave. I deserve it. It's more for the kid, I know, but it's a joke. But if they start posting too many pictures of the kid, people are going to get newborn fatigue. They're going to be more tired of that kid, the followers, than the parents are. And they're going to be like, maybe this doesn't deserve a like anymore, because I don't want my whole Explore page to be kids, like just newborn babies. If you like too many pictures of like all these people, you know, like they're kids, it's like getting a virus, because then your whole Explore feed is probably like, oh, baby products, cribs, strollers. Oh, would you like to enroll in kindergarten? It's like, what the fuck? What did I do? No, what happened to all those other posts I used to watch? What happened to all the shoes? What happened to all the basketball? What the fuck? What is going on? So that's why I don't like baby pictures. Not because I hate your kid, but because I'm trying not to fuck up my feed. But two things can be true at the same time. Maybe I do have beef with that little fucker. I think I told this story before on here, but there was this class I took. I think it was called Everyday Objects, AMS 21, I believe was the code of that class. And I used to sit next to my friend Max. And I told him one time our teacher brought in their kid, and the class always starts with a little exercise. Teacher gives you a question, you're supposed to turn to the person next to you, discuss it. Max and I would always discuss the question with haste so that we could immediately move to telling jokes to each other. And one of the observations I made one of these discussion times was that the teacher brought their kid in. And I was like, that's a really young kid, but that kid can like talk and like walk around. It has full autonomy, right? Is that what it's called? Like it can govern basically everything it does at this point. It doesn't even be held and carried around and stuff. So I was like, oh, he's probably in like kindergarten or something, right? At least. And it's so interesting because when kids are that young, they have no ops. No one really hates them. I mean, sure, their parents might if they were whining too much or pissing on them and shit, literally. But they go to class and there is a moment in their life where they have no ops. No one hates them. Like there's probably some people that, you know, you've rubbed the wrong way. I hate to break it to you. I hate that you had to find out this way. But there might be people that you've rubbed the wrong way. But there's a point in a human's life where they haven't rubbed anyone the wrong way yet. And that's crazy to me. Because there is a point in every human's life where they get their first op. And that probably happens in preschool if you go to it, or kindergarten. Which means it starts with the most innocent bullshit ever. Sarah was like, can I borrow some glue? And you're like, well, I'm using the glue. And from that point on, Sarah was like, man, fuck that kid. I don't like him. He didn't give me his glue. Sure, I was going to eat it. I think even last time I talked about this, I made the same glue eating joke, but, you know, go with it. I'm not that creative. But yeah, Sarah was probably like, man, fuck him. Where does he get off? What? Because I forgot my glue in the other classroom? He thinks he's all high and mighty. Fuck you, man. Sarah, the kindergartner, just learned about privilege for the first time. And later in that day, during recess, when she trips your ass, you're going to learn about privilege too. That's right. Eat the rich, bitch. Tripping someone in kindergarten for them not giving you glue is like a kindergartner's version of eat the rich. They're like, yeah, man, fuck you and your privilege. All right, fuck you, man. Why can't I make a collage because I don't have the tools that you have? That's bullshit. But it's very interesting to me that, yeah, there's a point in every human's life where they got no ops. So it's like, what is that first thing? What's that thing that gives the kid their first enemy? And it doesn't even have to be them directly. Like I said, it could be someone doing it on their behalf, like these parents. These parents could post these kids so much, and then the followers are like, man, fuck this kid. I don't give a shit. Like, ooh, first words. Yeah, I can talk too, bitch. Like, and so naturally, this kid, until they start their own Instagram, which, what is the right age to give a kid a smartphone and social media? I have no idea. I remember the justification my parents gave me, which I do like, is 6th grade. That's when I got a phone. They were like, you get a phone when you start walking home. All of elementary school, I would get driven to school and driven back. But middle school is when I started walking to school and walking back home. So they're like, you need a phone just in case you need to contact us on that trek. And so they're like, that's when we decided to give you a phone. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then Instagram, I just kind of got on my own accord because I don't think anyone really knew what it was. I remember my friend told me about Instagram. He was the one that convinced me to get it. He was like, yeah, just download it. It's like this stupid pictures app. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, you can post whatever you want. So I would post these just really shitty memes. I think some of them are still on my Instagram. And I was like, oh, look, I'm being ironic. And then all my other friends are like, what the fuck are you posting? Are you shit posting on your Instagram? I'm like, okay, we're in 7th grade, first of all. So calm down. But I'm like, yeah, I thought that's what it was for. They're like, no, you're supposed to post like good pictures. I'm like, well, have you read some of those memes? I think one of them, it might still be on there, is this shitty picture. It's like a meme of this guy with sunglasses, some fucking fuckboy. And the text says, are you a library book? Because I'm checking you out. And it's like, oh. But I was like, no, see, that's ironic. I'm being ironic. We're supposed to post shitty things, right, guys? So I did. You can't get mad at me for that. But until these kids get their own phone, parents are going to post them. And then likes are going to start to drop off. And are the parents going to try to chase the high of those 4 big events in their life and be like, okay, that's it. They're going to start like soft launching their kids when their kid has already been fully hard launched? In more than one way? Okay, easy, Gauruv. But are they going to start soft launching their kid? They're going to post their kid, but in very discreet ways. Like just a hand. Oh, picnic day with my favorite little guy. And it's just like their hand. There's too much arm. It's like, hey, get the fuck out of there. Mommy wants 200 likes. And if you get too much of your forearm, you're going to fuck that up for all of us. Remember, I brought you into this world. I can take you out of it, goddammit. But it got me wondering, yeah, are parents going to stop posting their kids? Because they're really free with it. They're pulling the trigger nonstop with their kids. And I have to imagine at some point that's going to halt. And maybe it's like a appearance thing. Maybe they'll start stop posting their kids when the kids start looking like their own person. Because there is a point, right? Where babies all look the same. Which has always weirded me out when people see a baby and they're like, oh, you're so cute. You look like just like your mother. I'm like, I wouldn't say that his mother has a baby face exactly. I'm seeing some aging there, but no. No, but I do get what they mean. Sometimes you can see like a kid has the same eyes and stuff. But I think people are too complimentary with newborns. They didn't do much, these newborns, to deserve the credit. I think that's my thing. It's all spite. I'm like, I've done so much. I think I've told this joke before too, but I've done so much in life. No one's praising me. This little fucker was freeloading for 9 months. He just pops out, causes everyone in his life pain, and we're like, you're amazing. What kind of gig is that? That's like being a fucking intern. You sit around for 9 months, you do nothing, and then we're like, you're awesome. So yeah, what the fuck? Are they going to stop posting these kids once they maybe start developing like a distinct look for themselves? And then it's going to be more about privacy. I've seen like influencers do that where they'll post like their kid, but then when the kid starts looking like a person, they're like, okay, let's pump the brakes on that. Because now you can be like identifiable. Before you were just like a blob of human, so that's fine. But once your nose starts coming in, Pinocchio, okay? Yeah, you got your dad's nose. We're going to have to stop posting you because there's creepy people on the internet. But privacy and good intentions aside, you think some people are going to do it because of the likes? And then some parents have to like tell their kid. The kid gets a little too tech savvy, too social media savvy, and it's like, Mom, why don't you post me anymore? I feel like you were always posting me. It's like, well, okay, first of all, know your place. I gave you a smartphone when you were 5, so you already are privileged. You're kind of biting off more than you can chew, fucker, okay? But if you have to know why mommy stopped posting you, well, son, it's because you fell off, okay? Can you imagine a parent telling their kid that they fell off? That's crazy. But it could be a reality, couldn't it be? Yeah, son. Sorry, we're going to have to revisit your contract because you're just not getting it done for this household anymore. You know, BetterHelp said that they wouldn't sponsor us unless we took you out of photos. It's not my call. It's not my call, but if you want to go on that field trip, this is the life you have to live, okay? This is the reality you have to accept. That no one likes that mug of yours. Frankly, I don't either, okay? It's your dad's. If you had mommy's mug, that'd be a different story. Then, oh my God, BetterHelp? No. We would get soccer teams to sponsor us if you look like mommy. Sitting down with a kid and breaking down like analytics of their Instagram. Yeah, so you can see, son, we peaked in your birthday month, which makes sense. I was posting a lot for you. I decided to do a birthday week, just like I would always do for myself. So that's why we had a lot of likes. But then when you started first grade, there was a big dip. People just didn't find it relatable. So we're going to have to take you out of the rotation. And your dad and I are talking about having a kid. We would like a little sister of yours, and we need it expedited. So we're not even going to try ourselves. Frankly, with your father, I don't even know if we could have another kid the way that guy's not performing. But I think we're going to have to adopt because we need better numbers quick. So we're going to have to bring a little girl into the mix ASAP. So don't fuck it up, okay? Treat her well. Bringing in an adopted kid to give your family social media better numbers, that's crazy. Yeah, we've had to go overseas for new talent. Okay, we are outsourcing you, son. You weren't getting it done in Q1, so we need to do something Q2. We can't just sit around, okay? We want to go on summer trips and you're not getting it done. No, but Mama, I'll perform. Yeah, that's what you said in Q1, all right? That's what you said in Q4 too. You just wanted a good Christmas present. And you knew Santa was listening. That's right, he still believes in Santa Claus, but he knows about Instagram analytics. The world's fucked. So I wonder what's going to do it. Because I've seen some posts from people posting their kids. I'm like, that got 100 less likes. Are you thinking about that? But this person still made their likes public, so they probably don't care about likes. Which is rare. I feel like a lot of people don't make their likes public anymore, which is really funny. It's probably nice though. You don't have to think about, the toxic comparison culture on social media. Just take yourself out of the running. It's the same reason why, you get a bad score on a test or any score on a test, you don't want to tell your friends because it's like, hey, what are we doing? If I tell you my score, you're going to tell me your score and then I'm probably going to hate you. We're going to both turn in our collages. You're going to tell me you got a 93 and I got an 84 and now I'm going to hate you and you're going to be my first op because we're in kindergarten and we're getting graded on collages. That's another thing that could happen, right? Your kid does art in school and you post it. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Look what he did. And then he does another art project. He brings it home and you don't post it. And the kid's like, oh, Mom, why didn't you post my other one? And you're like, well, it's not as good as your first one. I have to be honest. Treating your kid like a singer-songwriter that releases a bad album. Yeah, I just think you used to do watercolor and now you're doing macaroni art. I feel you got away from yourself, son. People aren't going to like it. They're going to think you switched up. They're going to be like, why can't he do more watercolor? That's what we knew him for. That's why he blew up. And now you're doing this fucking macaroni art bullshit. I can't post that. I love it. I love that you're taking these creative swings, but I can't post it. I can't. You know that. You get it, right? We'll talk about it in our next one-on-one next week. Scheduling one-on-ones with your kids, that's going to be the future, isn't it? Dinners with your family are going to be known as weekly team meetings. Oh, God. And that's another thing. Isn't the family dynamic kind of reflective of corporate culture? Your team, your family has a good quarter. You're like, yeah, we'll do pizza this Friday. We'll buy one pizza. You'll all get a small soda. And don't you dare fucking ask for cheese sticks, okay? And don't get me started on cinnamon twist, okay? You got it? Maybe at the Christmas party we'll do cinnamon sticks, but don't even fucking look my way. Q3. So yeah. Inundated. Completely flooded with baby pictures on Instagram. And I feel like I didn't consent to that. It feels like an invasion, personally. Do you think that's why they invented the mute button? Because they're like, yeah, you want to be supportive to new parents, but you don't want to see all that shit, right? So mute them. What is a picture of their kid this week going to tell you that anything new from last week? Okay, just turn that off. You don't need that. And I get it. Thanks, Instagram. So cool. You get your viewers. So yeah. Remember, guys, I need you to like this video. We've been doing a good job these past few weeks, so keep liking this. Comment if you can, even if it's just to say what's up. Do that. I just need comments. We need engagement. And it is June, July. I need engagement just like anyone else needs engagement. That's another thing. These summer months, this is when all the weddings are happening. This is when all the engagements are happening. And I'm not exclusive to that idea. I need your engagement too. So please leave a comment, leave a like. It'd make me a happy newlywed, a happy fiance, wouldn't it? But yeah, thanks so much for listening. This is the 4th week in a row that I've done this. Look at that. Consistency, folks. We're doing it. And again, I appreciate so much that you're listening to this. And I hope that one day your kids, if you have them, don't fall off. That'd be tragic. All right? And I'll talk at you next week. Okay? Bye.